The Reach Out program is basically a list of names of people in the society who want to make connections with other members. It's very important that we all do that. Otherwise, what's the point of being here? So if you want to get on this Reach Out list, it comes out every 2 weeks by email. You can call anybody on that list, or anybody can call you. So if you want to get on the list, me, NEO, and I know, and buy a study guide. So what this is right now we are going through Mark Hamilton's First Insight. There's 49 questions in the study guide, and in the first 2 months we only covered, I think, 15 or 16 of those questions. So we're digging in. You get the study guide, you answer the questions, and then we go over the questions each week. The only difference between this call, well, there's a lot of differences between this call and the other calls, but the first one is you're paying for this call. If you want to get on, it's $100 a month. Okay? I did that because I want people to put some skin in the game here. It's making an extra commitment to yourself. Instead of taking $100 and blowing it on some cheesecake and ice cream, put it.
I want to welcome the new members tonight. There's a few new members on Charlie.
Are you there?
Yes. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm here, Charlie. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm agreeing with you on that. And also, this number I gave out, you can go to all the recordings. So the latest recording will be 297. This is a great way for you to you can wind it back and listen to many calls. It's really a great. This call has been very great breakthrough for me. I'm honored and humbled to be on this call. And like Charlie said, I want to talk about the workshop that you do, Charlie. Because when I started with Charlie 4 years ago, and some of you have already heard it, I had no intention of being on a call. And Charlie asked me to come on this call, the Prime Lit Study Guide call. And it was on Wednesday afternoons. And it is a study guide. You will study and you will learn how to break through this universal information that we're so I guess I want to say the word gifted to have. We've been the chosen ones to have this prime literature. Anyway, and like you said, there's quite a few that broke through on that call. And it was phenomenal. So this study guide that Charlie has put together, just being on it with him the last few times, the members on there, they just blew me away, Charlie. I have to share this with everyone. Why they blew me away is everybody was into it. It was like those 4 hours it was like it was like less than 40 minutes for me.
I'm gonna bring up something here, just to let everyone know. I invited Jill Reed, the ex-2012 free writer Jill Reed, to come up on my Wednesday morning program and speak about her journey, speak about the 12 Visions Party, and to also talk about the Steve Fagan incident between her, Tom Carey, and Steve Fagan, and what was the chaotic chaos between the three of them. So I wrote to Jill Reed just the other night. Today is December 26th of 2019. It was just a couple nights ago when I wrote to her this past week. So I did write to her. I haven't got a response, but I'll be sure to post this video up on a wall where she can hear it. But the invitation's out. The invitation also extends to Mr. Tom Carey. If he would like to come up and speak on my show on Wednesday morning, we could pre-record the program on Tuesday or Thursday night, and then I'll replay it for my audience on the following week, or however they want to work it. I'm open to doing it, but I want them to come up and speak about their journey and especially talk about the 12 Visions Party back in 2012 and talk about the incident that happened between the three of them. So this is Big V, and this is their Thursday night lead call. I just want to say Merry Christmas. And guys, this is the last lead call for 2019. So here we go. Enjoy.
It's only a page and a quarter, basically. So it won't take long, but I just want to read it, and then we're going to dissect it. On February 13th, 1991, the federal prosecutor turned to the jury and revealed the man on trial was from another world. The prosecutor told the jury that this one man was the most dangerous man, for this one man threatened the status quo, threatened to upright this upside-down world in which we live. Did you ever feel that a better world must exist somewhere? An eternally benevolent world of honesty, integrity, rationality, peace, and security. A world of limitless excitement and prosperity. But where is this other world? How do we get there? Has any explorer yet discovered this world? Does he have a map for us? Is this our world of the future? In 1980, a scout, a pioneer, a Columbus set sail into the unknown to discover a new world. All but a handful of people thought he was going to sail off the edge of this flat, irrational society. He did not. Instead, he returned wearing a golden helmet. He had discovered that better world. He discovered our world of tomorrow. He discovered a world of eternal rationality, peace, and prosperity. He discovered the civilization of the universe. When returning from his long voyage, that man was imprisoned. Why? That man, as a scientist, ventured beyond the known to discover the route to, to discover the route to Shangri-La. He returned with a map, and that map showed all men and women the route to a rational world of opportunity, growth, and unimaginable riches. Once again, on that route, one can no longer accept the political criminalities, social insanities, and economic destruction overtaken today's world. Thus, for bringing you the map that leads to the civilization of the universe, that man was imprisoned by a threatened parasitical elite class. But now, with his map and Zon power, nothing can stop those on Earth from discovering that golden world of eternal prosperity and happiness, starting now. It's a powerful 4 or 5 paragraphs. But I like that second one because of all the questions that he asked. This, as you're reading these books, and there's going to be a certain sentence, or there should be, at least on every page, at least a certain sentence or a certain paragraph that just hits you, okay, as you're reading this, if you're really into it, especially when he asks questions. Frank R. Wallace went to prison because he was trying to stop the status quo. He was trying to make people understand that there's a whole better world out there, not just the world that we live in now. And those parasitical elites, those humanoids, they were threatened, and they threw them in jail. But he asked all these questions, and this is the questions we have to ask to ourselves every day. If you're going to grow with Neothink and Neotech, you must ask yourself questions every day. Like when you're reading certain paragraphs, either from Frank R. Wallace or from Mark Hamilton, you have to ask yourself once in a while, why did he put this information here? Why didn't he put it somewhere else? What does he really mean here? Does he mean what I think? And you have to ask yourself questions to really start understanding this. So, but did you ever, he asked that question, did you ever feel that there's a better world must exist somewhere? Have you ever thought about that? Even before you got into Neothink. I think a lot of us felt that, in a way. I didn't know. All I knew before I came here, that something is missing here. There's something wrong with this world. And in my mind, I said to myself, we're on this planet at a certain time in history. Why? Who the hell knows? But I want to find out. I want to find out why I'm here now. So I kept asking myself for the first 57 years of my life, something's wrong. Something's wrong, but I didn't know what was wrong and what was right. But I knew that this world is not supposed to be this way, yet it is. So we must ask ourselves, isn't the world full of honesty, integrity, rationality, peace, security? Why isn't this world limitless? Why are we all feel that burden of life upon our shoulders? Why do we always feel that the world's beating us up every day? Especially the people who came here, the neo-thinkers, the people who knew there was something. We didn't have the answers, and I'm not sure if we even had the right questions, but we had questions. And I think if you think about it, that's one of the reasons why you came here. So I kept asking these questions, and I think, well, how the hell did we get there? How did we find this world? Does he have a map? Does somebody have the answer to this? So when I got my first letter, and that was 12 years ago, almost 12 years now. Wow. I looked at that letter excited as hell, and I also looked at it skeptical as hell. But I said, if just what this man says is half true, I want in. Because it was making sense to me. Somehow I connected with it almost right away. So I ordered the book, and as I'm on the phone with them, I'm thinking to myself, am I going crazy? I'm spending almost $140 on a book. I know nothing about this company. I must be going crazy. But there was something there that said, do it. I tried so many things before that and didn't get anything out of it. So when the book came, I just dove in. And it was making sense. And it was like, this is where I should be. Now I know why I'm in this world at this point in time. Now I got to find out what I'm supposed to be doing with this information. And it just all started to fit in place. But he set off like Columbus. He sailed off an unknown territory, Frank R. Wallace. And all but a handful of people thought he was going to just fall flat on this. He didn't, and he did return wearing a golden helmet. And that's why he was in jail, because of his golden helmet theory. But he did discover a better world. He discovered the world of tomorrow. He discovered the civilization of the universe, the sea of you. And if you're not sure what that is yet, if you aren't all that familiar with that saying, the civilization of the universe, just look at the world today, okay? And every part of it, look at it. And then say, imagine if the world's like this today, what would it be like totally opposite, 180 degrees? And that's the sea of you. So basically, you take every part of this world. You look at it personally. You look at it spiritually. You look at it politically. You look at it any which way that you can look at it. Education, taxes, everything. And then say, imagine if it was 100%, or if it was 180 degrees different. Just total opposite. What kind of a world would that be? How would you feel in that world? That's what Frank R. Wallace went for. And he found it. And he did this basically by himself. That still amazes me. I know he had some people that was trying to help him. But basically, he did this on his own. And so imagine the courage he had to have, the conviction he must have had. Put all this information together. That's basically, and this information goes against this anti-civilization 100%. He's telling the world through his writings that where we are today in this world is bullshit. It's not good for us in any which way, and it's not. Nothing in this world makes sense. And you can look at it politically or religiously or economically or whatever, and it doesn't make sense. Why should we be bowing down to anyone? Why should we sit here being afraid of our own government? first of all, we don't need government. But the point is that we are trapped in these. We are trapped. They are pulling us down more every day. I was sitting in a DMV this morning because I had to, and that was part of this weirdness I had the last couple of days. And there was this young kid sitting behind me a couple rows back, and he's talking to somebody. And they have a sign that there's this national ID card that we have to have next year, all of us. Your state license or your passport is not enough anymore for the government. They want us with a national ID card, okay? And we have to apply for this and do it, all right? We have to, because it's just more control over us. And he's saying, well, I can understand it if I was in the military, but I'm a civilian. You know, they don't need all this information from me. No, of course they don't, dude, but they're going to get it. And people hear this, and they don't put the pieces together to realize they're just doing this so that they have more control over us. What the hell do we need a national ID card for? Think about it. Control, power. So, you know, so like if you don't have this this national ID card, you probably won't be able to travel overseas. You won't be able to do this. You won't be able to do that. Because your driver's license and your passport, that's all crap. You don't need that anymore. Well, I'm sitting in, again, and I was talking to this lady that I was with, and I'm saying, you know, and we were talking about government a little bit here and there, and I said, look at this place here, the Department of Motor Vehicles. What the hell is this for? Look at the hours that it wastes people's lives. I mean, we were there for almost 2 hours today. And yet, why? Why do we have to have insurance on our cars? Why do we have to have the government knowing the VIN number on the car? Why do we have to have a license? Why do we have to have this? Why do we have to have that? It's just a waste of time. It's just another burden of life thing out there that they're putting us under. So we have to pay taxes on this. We have to have a registration, and we have to. It's a waste of time. In the CFU, we don't have that. We don't have to do anything that's going to waste our time. But yet, this is how we have to look at the world. I mean, you know, it's like look at a company, or look at you personally, and you have to file your taxes every year. How many hours does it take you? And on these huge corporations, they have to have, I mean, I used to be an accountant way back. And I was controller of this one company, and I used to think about it back then. And I'm saying, you know, we had like 6 or 7 departments in this company, not counting accounting, okay? And I sat there one day and I said, geez, you know, every department here brings in income in some sort of fashion, except accounting. In the accounting department, we don't bring in income. We cost money. And what we have to do is to make sure that our company doesn't spend too much on taxes and how to protect it, but yet we don't put anything to the bottom line. We don't bring in revenue. And I always thought that was so strange. So, if you know, and then like starting up soon and going to April 15th, these companies, you know, be a CPA, and you're busy from now until April 15th. Okay, so all these companies have to be formed, and it's just all for a waste of time because we don't want the IRS after us. You know, we shiver when we hear those words, IRS. That's not a golden world. That's not the civilization of the universe. Imagine no IRS. Imagine no government. Imagine you doing what you want to do. You're living your essence. You're producing. You're creating. And you're putting more into society and taking out. That's the civilization of the universe. Today, the government's just throwing everything back at us, and we live under a burden of life. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think that I was put on this planet at this time to live under a burden of life. Nobody should live under a burden of life. But we do every day. then if you look at it politically, and I'm just going to cover this briefly, but just a few things that I just read in the last couple of days. Now it's Christmas time, right? And people are joyous and happy, even though it might be fake most of the time, but at least they feel better around the holidays on a whole. But the Democrats come out and said, we're going to raise taxes. Now, everybody expects politicians to raise taxes. But if you look at it from the other side, okay, if you just look at it logically, doesn't matter if you're left, right, or nothing, independent, I don't care. But you have to look at things logically. That's what this C of U is, being logical, rational. Okay, they just came out with a couple of reports about the tax cuts that Trump put in, because one guy said the other day, he actually had the nerve to say this, and we have to take care of this god-awful tax cuts. That's not good for you. Imagine somebody saying that, and people are taking that seriously. All right? So Trump cut taxes. And last year, under tax cuts, the government took in more money than ever before with all these tax cuts. So why the hell do they have to raise taxes? Think about that. What's the logical reason for them to raise taxes? If they're bringing in more income now because of all the tax cuts, do people have more? There's more jobs open today than there are people to fill them. Now, did you ever hear about that in this country before? In the last 50 years, unemployment has never been lower for every minority, for every race of people, because of just tax cuts. Companies are making more money. They threw more money back at the people. And what's happening now, and this I never thought of, but then I think the guy's name is Stephen Moore. He used to be with the Wall Street Journal. Now he's on the Federal Reserve or something. And he said that the average middle-class family takes home $5,000 more a year. And so he says the wages have gone up. But one of the reasons they have is because there's so many job openings out there that now companies can compete and offer more money because they're making more money. So like a person who might be happy with this job, but then he realizes, geez, I can make another $2,000 or $3,000 a year more or whatever. I'm going over there because there's so many job openings. Have you ever heard that before? And if it has happened before, I don't remember. So all these things, and yet people will sit there and say, yeah, I want to pay more taxes. And some people will think that because they can't get past their own nose and see the future. They don't know that there's a map out there that'll take us anywhere that we want to go. They don't know that they can be limitless. But all of these things are going on. And yet, most people don't know or don't realize how much better life, since Trump took office. And again, I'm not pushing Trump or I don't want any politicians. But since he took over, the Dow has gone up 10,000 points. 10,000 points. That's unheard of. So everything's going rather well here because of just one man for now. Yeah, is he perfect? Hell no. He's got many faults. But he knows, that you have to run this like a business. But he sees the evil that's out there, and he knows that he's standing between us and socialism. And people, I want socialism. It's so much better for us. Or I want this because I just want to pay more taxes, because if I pay just a little bit more taxes, I get all this free stuff. What kind of mentality do you have at this point? Where is your mentality? People just think that we should go out there and just get all this free stuff. Man, geez, Bernie Sanders, he wants to take away the school loans. $1.5 trillion, he just wants to disappear. $1.5 trillion he wants to just write off the books. And nobody's going to pay for this? Businesses will shut down. People will lose jobs. And then your taxes will go up then, because who's going to pay for it? We will. And people still believe that things are free. Nothing's free. Especially if we sell our soul. And many people here have sold their soul to government, to religions. And then and they have no idea who they are. I just got to follow. They're going to take care of me. I'm going to get this free house. I'm going to get free car. I'm going to get free food. I'm going to get free this and free that. I can send my kids away to college, and they can go to these real expensive schools. And who cares if they don't do anything? We ain't got to pay it. Where's the decency? Where's the common sense? Where's the rationality? And we're losing a country. We're losing generations now because of our education system, because we want to be controlled. But no, I'm an independent guy. I don't need to be controlled. But you are. Why would, I'm talking to this friend of mine. Well, I wouldn't really call her a friend, but she's left-wing, and she hates Trump because she can't tell you why, but she hates Trump. And I said, well, don't you have a reason? I said, what did he do to make you hate him? I said, that's an awful strong word. And then she starts getting all huffy-puffy. I said, calm down. We're only having a conversation here. People do have different opinions. I said, but what has he done to make you hate? And then she started hating me because she didn't have an answer. So how can you believe in something if you don't know why you believe it? Now imagine the belief that Frank R. Wallace had in himself to come up with a totally different way of thinking, a totally different way of looking at this world, and then writing all these thousands of pages that he wrote with such passion and such belief that how could you even think about doing anything else when you now can control your own life? It's amazing just reading this that I don't think any of us really thought about how many of us really believed in ourselves when we sent away for that first book? I know I didn't believe in myself. I was on the download then. I was just falling down, and I was just totally out of it at that point. But I still believed in somewhere deep inside me, I still had to believe. I had to believe that I got an answer. I know I got to find the answer. Why is the world this way? I mean, it can't be. This is the most perfect way that this world should be run. It just didn't make sense to me. I'm a very logical guy. Thank goodness. Because nothing was making sense. It never did. Explain why we have to die. Explain why we die. Where's the common sense at? Where's the logic that our bodies give out on us? We're not supposed to die. But yet we do, and we take it. What's taught to us by the time we're 5, 6 years old? You must pay taxes, and you must die. Well, gee, thanks, people. I'm only 6. I'm only 5. You tell me that I'm going to die. Am I going to die tomorrow? Am I going to die a year from now? It's like, why do you have to put death in here? But we are controlled by death. We're not controlled by happiness. We aren't feeling good about ourselves. We don't see the future all that bright. We see just decline and decline. A lot of people think there'll be civil war this year. Or next year. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. And I didn't even want to think that. I mean, that's just appalling to me. But it could happen. Because people can't think for themselves. We have to start to read this information. We have to start believing in ourselves. We have to start understanding it. We have to get excited about it. Because now we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And this is just a page out of thousands and thousands and thousands of pages. And I could go into it for another 5 hours. That's how you want to take these words and just absorb them. Take the thoughts and absorb them and put them into your life and because once you start getting the integrations, you are limitless. You do realize now that our brain is the most powerful tool in the universe, bar none. And now we sit here, people can't even write their name. It's absolutely incredible. People will sit there and defend why they want to pay more taxes. I can remember about 5-6 years ago, I'm at this New Year's Eve party, and it was really all, the whole night I'm just keeping quiet because they're talking politics and they're all left wing, and I'm just biting my tongue, and I'm trying to stay calm. And the woman I was with, it was mostly her friends, and then we're sitting there in this brand new condo in South Philly, and everybody's talking and they're saying, oh, how great this is and how great that is, and I'm like, oh, and this woman's, she was looking at me saying, just, calm down, we'll get out of here soon. And then this one guy starts talking about what I think is the most evil tax ever, the death tax, where they tax you after you die. And I couldn't hold it back anymore. And I could see it in their face, oh, here we go. And I said, excuse me. I said, well, what do you think? That's a good tax. You die, and you have family. You got your wife here, and you have, was it 2 kids or 3? Oh, I have 3. I said, all right. Do you have your own business? He goes, yes. I said, does your family work in this business? Oh, of course. I said, all right, so now you die, and in the state of Pennsylvania, at that time, I don't know how it is now, if you die, the government's going to come and take a lot of your money. And a lot of times when people have their own business, they end up losing the money. The government takes them at that, they lose the business. Do you want that to happen to your family? Well, of course not. I said, well, then why do you like this immoral, evil tax? And he couldn't defend it, but he believed in it. And it's like, don't people think? How can you defend something that's going to hurt you and your family? That makes no logic. That's so irrational. It's disgusting. But yet, most states still have it. It's incredible. And so we have to stop and think about how we can answer the questions that Frank R. Wallace asked in this, Where is this world of honesty, integrity, rationality, peace, and security? Where is this world of limitless excitement and prosperity? Where is this other world? How do we get there? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves every day. For us to change this world, we have to change ourselves first. We have to become this rational person. We have to explore this world, and we have to map it out. And then we have to let the word out. That's what we have to do to change this. But you can't do that unless you read this information and understand it. And with that, Juanita, I'm going to throw it over to you. I took more than I thought I was going to take.
Well, Charlie, you were on a roll, and I have to say you were off the charts with everything tonight because you're right. This chapter that you read tonight is chapter 21, and it is what it is. It's finding tomorrow's golden world. And we have to become explorers, and we have to be the scout, the pioneer of, and believe in what we're doing. Like Charlie was pointing out, we have to change our own mentality to really believe in what's going on out there. You described so many things. The DMV and how they have control, the government, how they have control over us, the people, how they buy into not taking self-responsibility, and I believe that why they go ahead and buy into paying more taxes is because it takes the responsibility away. They can just be like Digger used to say, bobbleheads, just bobbleheads. They don't have to think. Someone just take my money so I don't have to think. I don't have to do anything. I can just be a bobblehead. Dr. Wallace, yes, he was a man of his conviction, and he had such courage. He stood up to the whole system, the irrational system. He stood up for what he believed in, and yes, he was a scout and a pioneer. But he really dug in, and he really looked into everything with a deep diving in integrations of what the government was doing, with what the system was creating for us to be more controlled. And it is about control. And when you brought up the national ID card, I remember them a couple years ago making me change over and saying, well, we're all going to have to change over eventually. So it's just another form of control. We can't even go drive on the street without them wanting to have every VIN number, everything. It doesn't make sense, like you said, Charlie. And, I just love this chapter because it's about changing your mindset and really discovering the civilization of the universe, discovering the person you are. Dr. Wallace, he was a man that stood on his own 2 feet, and he went up against the whole system, and he did it for us. And now we have this prime literature here showing us a map that we can just grab that map and just take off with it. We can fly, we can soar, and it's about feeling what we're going through and ending that burden of life. Last night I had such a great night. I actually took off my work and I spent time with a young adult and his father, and we actually played thinking games. And we were all just having such a good time. That's what they're taking away from us out there. They're taking away our time. And our time is very valuable. And it's like you said, Charlie, it's about the death. They say that we have to pay taxes and die. We don't have to. Why should we have to do any of that? It's just another form of control that we can't be who we're meant to be. And with that, I'll throw it back at you. Hello, Charlie, did I lose you? And Charlie, are you there? Anyway, I think we lost Charlie. So I will go on to also how we must use our eternal rationality, and we must question everything: what, where, who, why, and how, and make sure that we are moving forward to that golden world, that world that we belong in, that 12 visions world, and always looking forward and always looking at how we can make our planet a better place to live, how we can change mankind for the better, and really live those 12 visions.
I'm back, Juanita.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I lost Charlie, but I'm going to go on talking. You know how I am.
No. I did it again. Mute's right next to the hang-up button. I went to unmute myself and say, great job. And
that's okay. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's okay, Charlie.
If they get the 300 calls of this, I would get this down by now. But anyway, go ahead. Finish what you were talking about.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to say we have such beautiful literature here that Dr. Wallace, he put it together, and this was his passion, this was his essence, and we have it at our fingertips, and this is our wealth, and we need to embrace that, and all of us together can make this happen. That that golden world, that tomorrow's golden world. And with that, Charlie, now that you're back, I'll let you take over.
No, it's just, sometimes I think I say the same things over and over each week, and I try and put a different spin on it. But we have to start to understand. You have to get that first integration, and then you have to get that second one, and you'll start to feel different. You start to say, you know what? I think I'm getting this now. And when you start feeling that, now you don't have. Now you might believe finally that, you know what? My mind is limitless. I can do that. I can. You start to believe in yourself. You start to get confidence with yourself. Knowledge does that to you. And this is the best knowledge that you could ever have. There's no better knowledge on this planet that I know of than this. Because it's based on rationality, it's based on honesty, and everything that's good for us. It's about us becoming a self-leader. It's about us living the life that we want to live, not what somebody else wants us to live. We are not here to be robots. We are not put on this planet to be a bobblehead. We are not put on this planet to be led by our nose. That is not what we are supposed to be doing here. This is insanity. It's downright insanity by a bunch of humanoids who doesn't give a shit about us. I hate to be that blunt with it, but that's what it comes down to. They don't care about us. That's why I went to tell that kid this morning who was talking. I'm going to say, yeah, you're a civilian. Do you think that they care how you feel? Do you really think that they care about you? If they did, we wouldn't be sitting, first of all, in this place today. I mean, 2 hours just wasted out of my life today. And I had no control over. So when you can't control your time, you can't control your life. Why do you think the mini-day schedule is so important? Because that controls your time. When you control your time, you control your life. So when you have to go to the DMV, you can schedule it on your mini-day schedule. But look at all the rest of the day. It's going to be productive. It's going to be creative. So there's just always something here that can help you get through a day of going to motor vehicles or doing something else that you have to do that you don't want to do, that we have to do because the government says so. That's not how we're supposed to live our life. And you got to start to believe that and start doing something about it. We don't have to follow these people. Let them go. Let them just do what they want. It's not going to affect my life. I'm going to find my essence. I'm going to do my mini days. I'm going to start my business. So I'm going to just start living better. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be more rational. I'm going to believe that I am limitless, that I can do anything that I want to do, and nothing's going to stop me. That's where you got to be. And I tell you, when you start looking at life with control, when you start looking at life with what's best for you, it changes you. And where else would you want to be but being yourself? Being who you truly are. That's what we have to find out here. That's our job. What am I doing here? Imagine if you knew exactly what you're supposed to be doing now. You just answered a lifelong question. Now I know why I was born this year. Now I know why I was born on this planet Earth. I mean, what's the odds of us being born on a planet that barely can keep people alive, that it just happened to fall from the sun, far enough that we can actually have water on this planet and we can grow life. And now, so now we live on this planet that is just full of life. There's life everywhere. No matter where you go on this planet, there's life. Some form of life. And then we were born at this time period, and now we ended up in Neothink together. What's the odds of that happening? It's off the chart. I have no idea. Whatever the biggest number is out there right now, that's probably it. The odds of us coming together. So now we have cut the odds down a lot because we know Neothink, or we're trying to know Neothink. But for you to figure out and understand this information, and then doing something with it, and then all of a sudden, bam, you got your Friday Night Essence. How great do you think you beat the odds. You talk about the upset of the century or of a lifetime. The odds are so against you, and yet you did it. Because look at all the billions of people that's been on this planet over the eons. How many of them found their essence? We have inventors out there, but how many? Not as many as you think, compared to the population of the world at that time. These guys created, and these women created themselves. And they slipped through the cracks, and they didn't give up on themselves. So you have Thomas Edison, and Thomas Jefferson, and you have Steve Jobs, and you have all the inventors of the past, Goodyear, Leonardo da Vinci, okay? And they didn't back down. They believed in what they believed in. They knew that this is what they were supposed to do. So why can't we figure this out? You can if you follow. You can if you take control. And that's what we must do. We must take control and do this. This is the chance that you set yourself up to succeed. And there's no better way out there to succeed than neo-think and neo-tech. There isn't. Believe me. Because I constantly look out there to see what else is out there. And there's some great ideas out there. There's some great people out there. But they can't touch what we have. They're still looking at it as the AC world. They're still looking at it with government and religions and everything else out there that's going to stop us. There's some great ideas, but it's not going to work until you come up with a prime law, until you say, we're free people, literally, and mean it. So, this is the best information out there. You can't get it anywhere else but here. And then you have to ask yourself, why am I not taking this to the next level? What's stopping me? And nothing. Because the only person that's stopping you is you. You can't blame it on anybody else. It's you. So let's do it. And
I just want to say one thing, Charlie. The last sentence here. I was in the Neo-Think Discovery, the Prime Discovery, and it's book 4, and it was on page 203, chapter 21. And I think in your book it's the same, right, Charlie? 203, chapter 21?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. And then also, I just wanted to read again his map is on power. Nothing can stop those on earth from discovering that golden world of eternal prosperity and happiness, starting now. And I just loved what he put there, saying that we can have this now. We just have to have that change in ourselves, that taking on that responsibility to do it. And that's all I wanted to add.
Nice. Great. We have to take the responsibility. We have to become the adult and control our own lives and take that 100% responsibility, because nobody else is going to do it.